Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So, continuing to work on the peacock's head and neck and chest here. Yeah, again, these are bigger blocks of colors, so they should go fairly quickly. So, yeah, we'll see how much we get done this session. So, I apologize in advance. I got quite a sore throat today. We have a lot of pollen, and unfortunately the smoke is pretty bad today too, so yeah. Not a heck of a lot I can do about that. Yeah, I had to get up to blow my nose several times in the middle of the night. Yeah, I was getting quite stuffed up from all that. So yeah, and it's a gloomy, rainy day today. You would think that the rain would clear the smoke out of the air, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So, yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to hope that next summer is better and that we don't have as many fires. Yeah, unfortunately, they said we've been having a lot less rain the last few years, so everything was extremely dry, and yeah, it's all they can do to keep things contained. But yeah, I've got my crafting lamp on here too, so that hopefully the light is good enough that you can see it. Yeah, so I'm thinking that I will have the peacock done, pardon me, end of this month, at least this section of it in this pass. Yeah, because it's going pretty quickly, these big blocks, and then we'll do some more sky. We'll see if we get to the garden wall on the far side or not. Yeah, this is coming along nicely. I'm quite happy with how it's turning out. I finally went and bought myself a curtain rod to hang up the Majora's Mask piece, so I'm going to try to get to it this month where I finally wash and iron and turn it into a wall hanging. Since it's a smaller piece, I've got a smaller section of wall to hang it on. It's well, it's kind of our rec room isn't a perfect square, kind of goes around a corner a bit, and so that sort of corner piece is smaller, but I think I measured it and it's going to be like the perfect size to hold the Majora's Mask pattern. So yeah, I didn't want to hang it in the rec room because it's really dark in there, and you won't be able to see it, right? So yeah, that much, something that you put that much work in, it deserves to be seen, right? Plus, we got a lot of other posters and things hanging. Pardon me. So yeah, told you my throat was bad. But yeah, we've got a bunch of vinyl Legend of Zelda posters my husband bought, although he's not as happy with them because they kind of got curly on the sides. I guess because they're like vinyl and not cloth, and yeah, they didn't hold their shape so well. Because yeah, we have a few cloth ones that are from like Final Fantasy, and those ones still look good years later because they're cloth. Yeah, they hold their shape. They were a bit more expensive, but worth it because, yeah. Yeah, the bass on the sound system is so powerful sometimes that you can hear them rattling against the wall. Ooh. Yeah, it was funny. My husband and son were watching Independence Day one time, and I knew when the aliens showed up because I could hear all the cookie sheets in my drawer rattling and vibrating when they showed up. So yeah, because yeah, the entertainment room is right underneath the kitchen, so. Yeah, I said there's drawbacks though. The sound system sounds really good. We were watching, I think it was Star Trek Into Darkness, and there's like a part where a ship crashes into a building, and it was like, wow, you know, it was surrounding us. The sound was definitely surround sound, like it was really felt like you were in there. I said, yeah, but then when something gross happens, that's the same problem. Yeah, it's just like, oh, shudder. Because, yeah, the sound is very vivid. Yeah, I remember years ago. Oh, geez. This was before our son was born, but he was helping his brother with a high school video project. It was for Romeo and Juliet, and he did an adaptation with stop start Lego figures, and then my husband was helping him add the sound later. And yeah, there was a big fight scene, and so he had to have a whole bunch of sound effects queued up and like practice playing them so that they would go at the same time as the action on the screen. Yeah, he had to practice that a few times. And then it was funny because his brother put in a Mortal Kombat reference when he was, what was it, at the end he's fighting with, is it Paris, I think, Juliet's fiance or whatever. Yeah, and so he put in an end to finish him and stuff. So yeah, it was quite funny. Yeah. Yeah, he said he considered when Mercutio gets injured under his arm or whatever during the fight that gets Romeo banished. He considered actually taking the Lego man apart and being like, "Oh, it's okay. We'll put you back together." But then he decided not to leave it. So, but it was funny, yeah. But yeah, I did a stop-start Lego thing once for French class, and ours was only, like 5 minutes long, and that took forever. And his was like, oh geez, half an hour. So yeah, I had a lot more respect for animators once I was done that, because man, that is a lot of work. Yeah, I love the Wallace and Gromit stuff, and that's the claymation, and boy, I think one of my favorites is Chicken Run that they did, which is basically The Great Escape, but with a chicken farm. And yeah, I think they said it took something like 3 hours to get every 1.5 seconds of usable film or something. Like, it was just wild. Yeah, how much work it took. And that the little clay figures actually had like a skeleton inside so that it was easier to move and position the limbs and stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of work. But yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite movies. There was a challenge once saying, list some movies that you could watch over and over and never get sick of. I'm like, yeah, that's one of them. I was going through a few, and then somebody said Cool Runnings. I said, oh yeah, how could I forget that movie? I loved that movie. That was, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend. It's a Disney movie they made of the true story, based on the true story of the 1988 Olympics with the first Jamaican bobsled team. It's so funny. It's a great film. I believe it might have been John Candy's last film. I can't remember now. I'll have to think about that. Oh, I parked this wrong. Yeah, I parked this one stitch over from where it should be. Yeah, I parked it 3 stitches. Oh, no, actually. Oh, no, yeah, that's right. It should have been 2. Yeah. And again, that's why I love my grid lines. It makes it much easier to figure out where I went wrong. Because no matter how careful I am, I will go wrong sometimes. Yeah, I'm one of those people who has a hard time picking my favorite one of something. Like, I say, I love to read, and people say, what's your favorite book? And it's like, well, I can't pick just one. Like, what genre are we talking, you know? Yeah. Is it, and of course, it depends what was I in the mood for. Something with more action, something that's going to make me cry, like, yeah. So now if you ask me to list some of my favorites, then I would be able to. But yeah, to just list one, I can't. It's so hard to pick. I was trying to think of movies, and I'm like, I could narrow it down to maybe 5, but I don't think I can pick just one. So yeah, it's always, this is one of my favorites because yeah, can't pick just one. Yeah, and even amongst genres, there's subgenres, right? Do you want historical fantasy or like futuristic or, yeah. It's funny though, I don't really read science fiction. And even though I love watching it, you know, I'm a huge Star Trek fan. But yeah, and then I was listening to a podcast about books, and they were saying maybe it's because you have to do the world building in your head and it's more mental work than when it's on a screen and they've done it all for you and you just have to watch it. I thought, yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah. I used to read more diversely when I was younger, but yeah, I kind of stick to the same few genres now. Guess, I don't know, maybe I had more mental energy, right? Just like more any kind of energy when you're younger. Yeah, somebody shared this this list they were saying of things you used to be able to do when you were younger you can't do anymore. And I said mine was, have long hair and wear it up all day, because I used to do that when I was in high school, and now I can't stand it. I can't let my hair grow longer than shoulder length or it's too heavy. And yeah, I said I used to have hair like down to my waist in high school, and when I put it up, my bun was almost as big as my head, and now my neck hurts just thinking about it. And my hair was thicker then too. It never quite recovered after I had a baby, so yeah, I said I was lucky that I had a lot of it to begin with, so it didn't end up super thin. But yeah, it never quite went back to the way it used to. Although one nice thing is it doesn't take as long to dry now. Yeah, it used to take absolutely forever. Most hairdressers I went to would thin it out when they were giving me a cut, because yeah. Yeah, closing in on 16% here. I started at this month at 14.5, I believe. So yeah, I was going to say 18 was sort of my estimate for this month, because 5% per month ended up being a bit too much. And this month I'm not sure, because like I said, we're going to have some family visiting, so I'll have a little less stitching time this month, so we will see. Although I think it's Firefly that's going to take a bigger hit than this one. I try to get 1% per month of that, but yeah, sometimes that just doesn't happen. I managed it last month, but not the month before. Yeah, so like I said, big blocks here. Hopefully this doesn't get boring for you. I do like seeing how much progress I get made when it's less confetti. It does fly by. Yeah, so like I said, my husband's up north. He said it was not too smoky, but clouds of bugs. He said it was awful. Like he said, they were flying between like his glasses and his face and in his ears and trying to go up his nose. It just yuck. Yeah, he said so. He had to do some stuff outside, but he tried to keep that to a minimum because yuck. Yeah, it was pretty gross. Oh man, I remember the year I graduated high school, the river flooded for the first time in like 7 years or something. So all of the mosquito eggs that had been dormant that whole time, they all hatched at once that year. It was awful. Yeah. Yeah, because unfortunately they can just survive for a long time waiting for enough water to all hatch at once. Yeah, it was gross. Yeah, we had one year we were visiting my in-laws, and his mom says, oh, you guys should, go for a walk together. This was, our son was younger, so, we'll keep him here and you guys can go have some alone time. But we came back within like 2 minutes. He said, yeah, there's just too many bugs. It's awful. It was not a nice, relaxing walk. It was a battle trying to keep from getting bitten. Oh. Yeah, we didn't have any bug spray, although that only works somewhat. Okay, just trying to figure out where I want to branch off what here. Because I am going to branch it off. I think I see what I'm going to do for now. Okay, go do these three. So I'm going to split this section of color sort of right there. Pardon me. See what we have down here at the bottom. Okay, this thread is decent length. So sometimes with these bigger blocks, I end up sort of traveling up and down quite a larger swath of my diagonal there. You could choose to break it up and, stay in the same area more. Totally up to you. Okay, so I'm gonna park this up here. Try to make the best use of that thread as I can. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. Or actually, no, I'm going to switch colors. Yeah, do a bit of this darker one here. Yeah, I've been just blowing through this color like crazy because this, you can see there's a ton of it all over the place. This is sort of the main color of his neck and chest. So yeah. So yeah, as I have two threads of this other color here, they're going to, again, kind of meet in the middle, so. Yeah, smoke in the air has been bothering my eyes a bit too, but thankfully not as much. I started taking omega-3 fish oil capsules, and that seems to have helped a lot because, yeah, my eyes were getting really bad. I was having to put drops in like every hour, even half hour sometimes. It was not good. Yeah, but now I only have to put it in when it gets really bad, or often later at night when I'm reading before I go to sleep. They can get quite dry then. Yeah, I wore contacts for a while, but that was one of the big problems, was my eyes were so dry that, yeah, it was not comfortable having to put drops in again all the time then too. It was just such a pain. So I finally just said to heck with it. Stuck with glasses. Yeah, there's a knot there. Come on. Let's see if I can get this out. There we go. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, so I'm gonna stitch with this one. I think I could do all of these rows here with it. And then if I can carry it back up, I'll do those sort of 4 stitches by themselves there with the same strand if it reaches, and if it doesn't, then I'll just tie it off. So. Oh, I'm at 100 stitches done today, even. Yeah, I've been saying maybe 55,000 total by the end of August. We shall see. Yeah, I think that will be just right. Getting pretty good at estimating how far a strand will take me. I've been doing this for long enough. So, there we go. Yeah, then we have this one down here. This is longer than I need, so I'll be tying it off and saving the pieces for later use. It's kind of too far to carry in park. It'll use more thread, so I'll just end it off and restart. here. Fill in some more. Yeah, I used to be more strict with following a diagonal all the way to the bottom of my pass there, but now I just kind of go wherever seems right to me. Okay, so I'm gonna go one less stitch than here so we don't form a line, just in case. I used to stitch by page and I never had a problem with lines, thankfully, but yeah, I figure might as well stagger it just in case. I think that didn't go quite, yeah, that wasn't quite in the right spot. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Oh, goodness, did it again. Need to pay a little closer attention, I guess. Ooh. Still got over 8,000 of this color, so yeah, like I said, blasting through it pretty quickly. Yeah, it's actually cool enough that I had to turn the heat on for this week. Next couple of weeks aren't supposed to be too hot, which is just fine by me. Oh, actually, I'm gonna do this one too. Yeah. So I don't close anything in. Actually, I can get this one in the corner too before I run out. Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to decide whether I want to go back up or continue on downwards. I think we'll just continue on down for now, and I may head back up for a while. Yeah, as a lot of these colors go across more than one diagonal, I'm working quite a wide section in this area. I like to stitch across the big blocks when I can. It goes a bit faster, I think, and then I don't run as great a risk of there being any lines in the piece. If it's sort of one continuous row across the whole area. I think we're going to put up some big numbers today. Because we're already like 150 stitches in, and haven't been stitching very long, so. Yeah, hopefully you find this entertaining, because I'm not talking as much, because yeah, throat hurts. Again, I can see this color is going to branch off here a bit to go around this upcoming bit of navy blue. At this point, I may go back up a bit to the top a bit and then fill in some more. I could do that, or I could continue filling on towards the left too. I'll decide when I get there. Okay, so let's take a look here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go way back up here for now for a while. Add a different color, which should keep things interesting, I think, with some contrast. And this is another color I'm gonna have more than one thread of because, yeah, kind of branches off and spreads out a bit. Okay. Oh, pardon me. So yes, it's like the shadowy side of his neck and chest, I think. Okay, I'll park this one up here. I'll use a different thread for the ones that are up higher. Okay. Or I may carry it back up, who knows. Do it all with one strand, it sort of depends. Actually, I'll do those as well. Either way though, I can see this color's gonna branch apart, so it's gonna be more than one strand at some point anyway. Where I decide to do that kind of depends. Oh, goodness. Careful I don't get a snarl there. We do not want that. Okay, I'll do this. Yeah, I will do these two here as well, which is what I figured. Yeah, I remembered this piece is not being very long, so it'll be just right. every last stitch I can out of this thread before I end it off. Oh, goodness, that did not work. Yuck. Gosh, what a mess. Let's try that again. Oh, and look at that. Okay. Whew. Oh. Boy, that ended up really uneven. I just took a look at the back and there's not a knot, so. Well, sometimes that happens. Oh my gosh. Might work better if you tried to thread both of those strands at the same time. Come on. Don't be a pest. Gosh. There. Oh, look at that. We're about to go past 200. Okay. So, I think I'm gonna, divide this color up here a bit. So, like I say, I often try to go across the whole section of color, but sometimes it does make sense for me to just kind of split it up a little bit. So I do that. When it goes around other colors and stuff like that. Okay, this needle might be done. It doesn't want to thread. That can mean the eye is getting rough. Okay, for now it's still working. Okay, I'm gonna just put this one on a lower magnet so that thread is not in my way as I'm stitching right here. Oh yeah, don't do that, please. A whole bunch with this color. Yeah, my son's hiding out in his room. I told him, like, you can be out here when I'm filming, I don't mind. Because he keeps his computer out here, but, yeah, he hides out. Yeah, guess part of that's just being a teenager, right? That didn't work. There. Almost wanted to form a knot, but it didn't. So I'm gonna smooth these strands out so that they're even again. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to start another one of this color. Oops. Try that again. Caught it with my hand. Okay, and then start a new one of this color. So yeah, back and forth between two colors, it goes quite quickly. Make a lot of progress. Yeah, there's a knot back there, darn it. Oh, it's quite a tight one too. Let's see if we can get it to release. Oh, mess. Oh, I hate when it does that. Okay, let's see. Oh, how far back was it? Oh, I think it was in the last row. Okay, yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, it was way back there. Darn it. What a mess. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take a spare piece of thread and secure that loop across the back rather than pulling it out to fix it on the front. So just find myself a scrap piece of thread here. Yeah, so I've pulled the knot out. I'm left with a loop now, so there won't be any lump. And then I just thread a piece of spare thread through that loop and then pull it taut across the back so that it doesn't flop around and it won't come loose on the front later. This way I don't have to rip back when it keeps everything, where it should be instead of later working a loose loop on the front, which I do not want. Yeah, I usually catch knots right away, but sometimes I don't notice them for a while. It's easier to kind of adjust it than pull all of it back to get to the knot sometimes. Yeah, I had a really big loop the other day. It was like an inch long. I don't know how I didn't catch it while I was stitching. I mean, I should have noticed that my thread was suddenly way shorter than it should have been, but I didn't, so yeah. I had to do the same thing, secure a great big loop across the back so that it wouldn't pull free later. And then it was pulled taut, and then once I stitched over it, yeah, it holds it in place, so I don't have to worry about it coming loose later and causing issues. Actually, I'm going to extend this line a bit. That way I can do more of these electric blue stitches without closing anything in. There, and then I won't be working with that navy one for a while. I'm just going to keep filling into the left. So yeah, it just kind of keeps on shifting over as I work. Often that's just, that way I don't close in the stitches above by working the other way. Although sometimes I will if the whole sort of, that's the way the whole colors are shaped, then sometimes I do that. Oh, there's a knot on that one. Yeah, just felt it. There we go. Fortunately, I caught it right away. Oh, we are going to pass 300 done in this session. Nice. Yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to have to take a break soon because, yeah, I can feel my arms are starting to complain, so I'll need to take a break and do something else that doesn't involve repetitive movements on my muscles so I don't strain myself. Okay, not much left for this one, so I'm gonna park it here for that stitch there. Unthread it for now because it'll be a while till I get to it. Yeah, just do a few more and then that's gonna be time for a break. Yeah, I've been trying to make longer sessions for you all because people are saying they enjoy that, but also gotta make sure I don't overdo it and hurt myself, especially in these big areas of color. Gotta be careful about that. It's very easy to do. think that is where I'm going to call it a day. Because, yeah, my arms are starting to complain. So I've learned from experience not to push it, or I'm going to regret it later. But yeah, over 300 and we got 324 stitches done today. So yeah, that was probably, I think, the most I've ever done in a session with y'all. So I'm quite happy with that. But anyway, as usual, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope to see you here again another time. All right, thanks everyone.